Welcome to Project Likkutei Torah. We are starting. This is Daf Memtes 49. We're starting in the middle of the first column. This is a continuation of the previous Maimer. The Maimer asked Ani on the last pasuk of Krishma, Ani Hashem Elokeichem. He had many questions that he answered. Why is this connected to Krishma? Because Krishma is also Yetzias Mitzrayim. And then he says, what's the pshat? Ani Hashem Elokeichem. And he asked the shaila in the beginning of the Maimer. Why does it say Ani Hashem Elokeichem twice? Because Yaakov said in Parshas Vayetzi v'shavti b'sholem v'hoya havaya lileikim. What was he asking? V'hoya havaya lileikim. That what is now for me Shem Havaya should be Shem Elikim Amaylim Umasti, because there'll be something much greater than Shem Havaya. Also, we know Mashiach will come, which is called Yom Shekulei Oro. There's no beginning and end, because there is Kulei Oro, because Ein Sof shines with no beginning and end. So then we say when Mashiach will come, it will be Ani Hashem Elokeichem, that Shem Havaya will be Shem Elikim, because there'll be such a great order from the Ein Sof. The Hizgalos of Shmei HaGodel. So just like we have, there could be a Yaakov at sich gebeten v'hoya havaya lileikim, and Liyosidov is even a greater Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Could be this is pshat. Says in the Haggadah, this is what it says. Kim Yisrael Yishemecha. Once the Malach told him, that's Gilui Shem Havaya. Kisar Yisrael Elikim, and that's the Gilui of Har Sinai. And then when there's the Eibishter told him in Acholim, Kim Yisrael Yishemecha. That's a higher level connected with Mashiach. And like we know, there's two Shemis Havaya. And psik time beinayu, the lower levels, a whole different madrega, and the higher shem havaya, that's yeshmei rabba mevorach, and that's the gilui, what will be la'osid love from that higher shem havaya. Imheiro me'yameinu made come on us soon in our days. And this is pshat Elokeichem, Ani Hashem, I'm your Eibishter. You make it happen. It should be such a major izgalos that Shem Havaya becomes Shem Elikim. Like it says, Ad Yavir Amcho Hashem, through elevating Yetzias Mitzrayim and Amshach, we will become Yavir, will surpass the first level of Havaya and go to the second level. Then it says, Asher Heitzesi, even though it's what you do, למטה. You need Yetzias Mitzrayim. A Jew should lose himself in Kriyashma. But still it is called Heitzesi, I took you out. Like we said before, if that Eibishter doesn't help a Yid, he can't fight the Yitzhar. Like it says in Tehillim, Ki Yamid Limin Evi, and Lishiyam Yishivte Nafshe. Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos al Shleish, advarim האלה meimed al Torah val aveda val kasodim. Aveda is the lo asman, the bitul hayesh, the losing yourself, the achdus Hashem, and a tremendous Ratzon to the Eibishter. And then you have Torah and milas kasodim, which they're both hamshachas lemata. Torah is learning and understanding of Pnimiyas Torah. And then there's Gemilas Kasodim is Hamshacha B'chitzeni is in the world helping people. But it says Chaz de Havaya ki leisomno. Chaz de Loshen Rabim, because there's two chesed. There's the lower level chesed and there's Rav chesed. And he explains in the Maimer that the first level is chesed alien from Mashiach. But there has to be the lower chesed, chesed of Atzilus, which on it Eliyahu Novi said in Pasuk Eliyahu v'kama gufin tkinas loin chesed rei yemino. This is a chesed to be mikabel the daf chesed, the infinite chesed will be Mizgal Mashiach will come. And how do you make for this the keli lemata gemilas chasodim chesed rei yemino? And we know there's two levels of Teda. There's Teda Savaya and Teda Say. Teda Savaya's Teda will be Nizgalosid Love. But you need the lower level of Chochmah Atzilis and our Teda Shalemato. You need both. That's why the Pasuk says, this is answering the question of the beginning of the Maimed. That's why the Pasuk says, Ani Hashem Elokeichem twice. One goes, and Ayim La'asei Som, which is Teira Shelemata, which he said, Teira say, and Chesed Rei Yemino, which they are the Maaseh, the Chesed Atzilas, and the Chesed Tzedakah, the lower level of Chochmah Chesed HaKelit Mekabel Teira Savaya, and the Rav Chesed calling here at Chesed Dilegov, which will be Nizgale b'mheira b'yomeinu. That's the Hashem Elokeichem twice. There's Hashem Elokeichem that we make, and through that we're zeichet a higher level of Hashem Elokeichem. And that's why this pasuk is in Kriyishma. We explained in the beginning of the Maimed that Yitzis Mitzrayim Shaykh L'Kriyishma to go out of Mitzrim Megvulim. To have bitla yesh, and this is limser nafshe ve'echod, and this is the aveda bitla yesh kisarisim elikim. This struggling with the dinish nefesh Bahamas brings lidei Shema Yisrael, and it's the same idea with Yitzis Mitzrayim, and this is the aveda of an Allah Asman. And we said before in the Maimed, there has to be teirug mils chasodim to be mamshuk to say lemata. And this is merumas in the pasuk. These three avodas is merumas in this last pasuk of Krishna. Shahrei tzisicho meretz Mitzrayim. That's halloah. You're leaving Egypt, a tremendous Ratzon to the Eibishter, which is higher than everything. Like we learned in the beginning of the Maimed, that all the universes are just created from one level, one letter. And then Nihavaya, that's through Hamshoches, to Teirag Mils Chasodim, that's why they made this pasuk. Because it's connected with the three inyonim of Teirag Mils Chasodim. Then he asked another shaila in the beginning of the Maimed, what's the connection to the Parshas of Tzitzis? So the Tzitzis is the Lamed Beis Chutim, and the Tal is in the Makif. These are the two hamshoches of Teirag Mils Chasodim, the Talis and the Tzitzis. Teirag is the Tzitzis, because Teirag is Lamed Beis Chutin. There's 32 Chutin in Lamed Beis Chochma. Mils Chasodim is Makif. V'yemini Techapkeni. Another, you could say that Tzitzis is Ava V'yira, like it's explained in the previous Maimed, V'hoylech HaMetzitzis, that it's avodah. Then he says, it looks like this hour is from the Tzemach Tzedek. The idea of shleisha, dvarim, oila meimed, why shleisha? Because it says in Zeir Rakia, in Sof Parshas Trumas, in the Zeir Rakia, it says, on the words of the Zeir, when she receives her husband with her two hands, that means that Silas HaKodesh, you need three pchines, because you have to have Gimel Rishon, and they're the three heads, which are the Yesod for Atzilas. So that's why in our world we also need the Gimel Reishin with Shlesh Advarim Eilim. If you look it up in the Zeir HaRakia, you will understand why Likkutei Torah V'Einos Chasodim have the ability to bring HaKadosh Baruch Menanei Reishay, to bring a Gilui of Ein Sof Lamata. Just heard an interesting story today, talking about the Lamed Beis Yesivas Chochma. Someone told the Rebbe he's rushing, he's going to a dentist appointment. So the Rebbe told him, listen, you made the appointment, you should go to the appointment. But next time, we know this, he says there's 32 teeth. Check your talus that there's 32 whole chutim. You won't need to go to the dentist. Anyways. But this is the Lamed Beis Yesivas Chochma and the talus and the tzitzis and everything that we do is exact. You need all these avedas to bring a likus lamat. Now comes a beer on the maimer, on the previous maimer, on the posik, the last posik of Parshas Tzitzis Ani Hashem Elokeichem, and the Gemara in Brachos, what the Gemara says when you didn't say Yehi Shmei Rabbo, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Menanei Abereishe. And explain in the previous maimer what does Menanei Abereishe mean. Menanei Abereishe means you bring the Ratzon, the Gulgalto there in Sof, here lemata. So he starts explaining in the Maimer Lahovinian Haratzon, which is chitzenius, neged aseichel. How could Ratzon be higher chitzenius for seichel? Ratzon is doch hecher for seichel. Ratzon is doch keser. Seichel is chochmah. That's why we ask Yeridatta. There should be a new Ratzon. Zokte. When is Ratzon chitzenius for seichel? There is two seichel. There's chochma b'datzilus, which is yenik from one of the 13 mazolos of arich lamato me'aratzon. He only gets the yenik from Cyrus, from Gulgalta, which is Ratzon. And Cyrus is be'enarech Gulgalta, so the chochma is lower. But there is mechas timo, which is seichel anel amikol rayein, and this is higher than Ratzon. Because in this meas timo there is tainu, which is ein sof, which is higher than Ratzon. And the Ratzon is called chitzenius of mechas timo, like ugelis lagabe ameasha beteichei. The mechas timo is the pnimis of the Ratzon, the tam kamos of the Ratzon, like we learned in the previous maimer about shteikach olav b'machshova. And this is all explained in the Eitz Chaim, that the meyach hasosum shebekesed says the Eitz Chaim, there's pnimis the mechin shimei shebei be'atzmei. So we see that mechos timo is the pnimis the Gulgalta, and the Gulgalta the Ratzon is its chitzenius. That's why the mecho is called mechos timo. Timo means it can't come down to the gilui. But chochma datzilus, it says v'yishpatcho l'lamed beis shvil, that it's open to 32 roads, like it says in the Zeh, that from Eden, from Chochma goes different rivers. And how does Chochma datzilus get from Chochmas Timo through Cyrus? Like it says, V'zorach miseyir lomei, that from a side, from a seir shines there should be some a little haoras hatayna neshamas in Gan Eden. And the chokhmah stima gives the chokhmah ilah to chokhmah datzilis. It has to go through a golgalta, through a skull. The Ratzon is mastir on the mechos stima that only a hair goes through. This is the explanation regarding the 10 spheres. We know sometimes it says Keser is counted, sometimes Das is counted, Keser is not counted. And he explains, when you count the chitzenis of Esses spheres, you count Keser. Because chitzenis of Keser is Ratzon's part of Esses spheres. But when you count the pnimius of the spheres, you don't count Kesker, because pnimius of Keser is mechos timo, which is ein sof mamish, and is only amok, is not part of 10 spheres. And then what's first? Dafke chokhmah datzilis, reishis chokhmah. Period. Here, till the end of the Maimer, the Hago, answering stiris from the Chaim and the Zeyar. Couldn't be Tzagov from the Tzemach Tzedek. But it says like this. This beer in the different ways of counting the Esesphiris, that if you count the Pnimius, Mechas Temo is not counted. When you count Chitzenius, then Keser is counted. Because that's Ratzon, that's Nizgala, what I want. We know what Hashem wants. We don't know why he wants it, like Rabbi Soloveitchik said. So this is going to explain us about Torah mitzvahs. We find in different places in Chassidus that Torah is higher than mitzvahs. And we find in different places in Chassidus and Kabbalah that mitzvahs are higher. What's the answer? They're both right. Torah is meach, mitzvahs is gulgalta. So do a mile for meach, it's not in gulgalta that it's pnimius, and you could understand it. So do a mile in gulgalta that it's chitzenius for something much greater. Mechos timo, because Torah is chokhmah datzilis, and chokhmah datzilis is pnimius. Gulgalta is chitzenius, so Torah is greater. But since it's chitzenius hakeser, chitzenius of mechos timo, so in that it's greater than chokhmah datzilis. But there's a mile in chokhmah datzilis that it's pnimius, and Gulgalta is chitzenius. So it's mashman eitz Chaim. He writes bibchina zu in one level. I'm meichin himikrim because they're pnimius. But meches timo, which is pnimius hakes, is higher than Gulgalta. Meches timo is the part that's not the Esses. So it's higher than the part that is part of the Esses. Because why is this level of mechos timo not counted in the Esses? Because it's tachteina shebemaitzil, and the maitzil's antruchad lo bechuspa. Fragt the Rebbe in Eitz Chaim, he says that it is atik. Atik is the pichinos tachteina shebemaitzil, and arich is the level of the beginning of Ne'etzolim. And mechos timo, we go as an arichampin. But it's explained here that in mechos timo is tainu, which is ein sof mamish. Atik, which is tainu, is nizgal in chokhmas timo, and apnimius But in the Galgal, not in Gulgalta, which is Kitsenis, like it says in Yitzchayim Barichas. So that's why Meichos Timo, even though it's an Adich, is not part of the essence Fides, because in him shines Atik, which is Tachtena Shebematz. The Atik is Tainu. Look in the Maimer, Likkutei Torah and Seisosis. It's explained like we're explaining in here. But in the Maimer, Yeviyum, Levush Malchus and Tereh, it's explained. A little different. It says that Meichos Timo, you could say Golgalta is greater, because Meichos Timo is Chochem Shebekesed, it's Mokar Torah. But Golgalta is Kesed Shebekesed, the skull. It's Mokar Mitzvah, it's Chitzenius. It's against the Chaim. The Maimeh in Likkutei Torah. The Maimeh in Torah is not like the Chaim. So he says, the Pnimius HaKesed, which is higher than the Golgalta. So there's two inyonim, the way it says in Eitzchayim. There's the Kesed, which is a Eruch Nimaki Folov. And there's a Chitzenius, Shalei Mispashtim Lemata. And this is the idea what she says in Zeyar. There's Reisha, the head, Golgalta Mechi. And he explains in Mikdash Melech from the Ramak that Reisha is Ikira Kesed Tzermak. And Golgalta is Chitzenius HaKesed. Over there in this Parshas Amir says the Ramaz. Reishis Primis HaKesed and Golgalta is Chitzenis HaKesed, which becomes a Golgalta, like it says in Yosha. And the Kavon is the Eitzchayim. It says in Eitzchayim elsewhere from the Arizal Sharch of Beis. Hachitzenis Shalei HaMispashtim, and it's a stated to what's brought here from the Eitzchayim. The Meichos Timo Shebekesed not part of the Sfiris. So how could it be part of the Golgalta? It's higher than Golgalta. We could say that there's no stira. Here's the whole pilpul. There's no stira that both of the Maimorim our Maimer and the Maimer View of Ushmalchus are both explained in the Eitzchayim, both have a source in the Eitzchayim of Dariza, where it says in Levush Malchus is according to the Eitzchayim Sharai, where there he says Golgalta is higher than Meichos Timo, because it's Kesed Arichampin. And Meichos Timo is Chochmah Darecham. So if you have Kesed Arichampin and Chochmah Darecham, Kesed is higher. So Golgalta is higher than Meichos Timo. Based on that, it's higher. Based on that, we say there's a mile of mitzvahs that comes from the skull, more from Torah, comes from Chochmah Timo, from Meichos Timo. And there's from this as a mile in Torah. Because Torah comes from Meichos Timo, even though it's lower than Kesed, but it's Pnimis, it has a mile. But if you look over there in the Eitzchayim, he says something else. He says in the Eitzchayim that in this skull, there's another Meichos Timo higher than the regular Meichos Timo of Aricham. And he says in Perek Daled Arizal that this level comes from the Radlo, Reisha de lo Isyada, which is higher than Golgalta, that could not shine in Aricham. And there in Perek Zayin, Tzchayim explains that over there in that Meichos Timo, higher than Meichos Timo, over there the Das, the Atik is revealed and it's the Shomer of Arichampin. But in the Golgalta, which is lower, there's only Chesed, the Atik, not Das, the Atik, and it's not neshama, but it's ruach of arichampin, which is lower than neshama. So based on all these quotes of that Arizal, we understand there's no contradiction. Remind me here that says that meichas timo is eina de chaya, that Torah has a higher source, is based on the other quotation of Eitz Chaim, that in the Gulgalta there's a mea sosu me'ei, and he's called chochma seilos stimo keser shebekeser. Over there, the Gulgalta is chitzenius. And this level of meichas timo, not the regular chochma shebe'arif, but meichas timo that's higher than meichas timo, this is not part of the sphere, this is from the Radlo. And Radlo is tachtena shebe'maitzil. It's antu chad v'lo b'chuzpa. And this will answer the other stira. Zeyar Parshas Emet. It says, Reisha v'gulgalto meichi. Head, skull, and brain. And the Eitz Chaim says the Lashon Hazeh. There is meichi. Shebei be'atzmei. And it covers the meichin anikra Chabad. Those are the two meichin, I guess. The meichin shebei be'atzmei is the chochma stima, the higher level. Malbeshes games hameichin anikra Chabad is chochma the arich, and this is reisho meichin shagalgaltom malbashtom. The Galgalta is higher than ratio Meiche. This is how we could answer the Stiris in Eitz Chaim. It's two levels of Meichas Timoin Kes. And this answers the Stiris. Torah is higher, mitzvahs are higher. And he says some more Kabbalah that this week, what is explained here, based on what the Zeh says. To explain the Sifra that's Niusa from the Arizal, what he brings over there in Idrezuta. Koch mistimo. This stimo baby atiko kadisha, because it's bedakus vehelim godel bradlo mamish. This is mechos timos bradlo mamish. This is the pshat. Das that Silas composes the 10 spheres. When you're talking Pnimis, you talk Das, but in Chitzenis Keser is counted. But in Pnimis, it's not counted because Das is Pnimis. And also it says in Zeir Oroki and the Pirush and the Zehar that is Gimel Reish in the Atik. In Atzilus, it's Chabad, so Das is also the Shersha from the Adlo, so it's Mashlim Das is Shiris. Kishein HaKeser Nimna, when you don't count it Adlo, Pnimis HaKeser, you count it Adlo. The way it shines in Atzilus, which is through Das. And finishes the Tzemach Tzedek Disagor. Even though Das comes from very high, it comes from that law. It comes from the lower level of the matzil, which is not part of the Esesviris. Nevertheless, you could count them when you're counting Pnimiyas. How could it be counted in Esesviris if in him shines that law, which is the lower level of the matzil of the Rebishter? How could it be part of the Sviris? Zokter Afal Pikain, since it comes from these higher madregas. So many ishtalshus and tzimtzumim, even if the mocker is not counted, it can be counted. Now we'll continue the next plot. After this long pilpul, Maimorim and Eitz Chaim, the contradicting and the answer between them. we can understand. We'll continue tomorrow. What does it mean when Ayid is Lireish? And he is Mamshech the Ratzon Elyon, the Golgalta, the skull, which in it is the time. And we'll continue Daf Nun.